Good morning and welcome to the 2016 Nova Scotia East Coast Credit Union Men's Provincial Tankard, being held conjointly this year with the Nova Scotia Scotties Women's Provincial Championships. It's the first year both events are being held together. We're here at the Mayflower Curling Club in Halifax. Action just underway in the first end of draw number 1. The men are out first this morning, and our feature game this morning we have Jamie Murphy, 2012 and 2014 champion, against Paul Dexter, both out of the Mayflower Curling Club here at home. My name is Ryan Corsell. I'm joined by Jim Nix along here for the commentating.
Yeah, good morning, Ryan. Yeah, looking forward to a great week here. It's nice to get it underway. There's been a lot of work and preparation and planning, and now it's just a matter of getting down to the curling.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. They've completely they've redone the ice with some sponsor logos. They've added some seating on the side. The club is set to go for a nice event here this week, and it's nice to have some rocks finally on the way here.
Yeah, and I think these teams are going to be really ready to play, too. They've had a pretty good practice session yesterday, and the ice looks tremendous. From all indications, talking to some players, they're really happy with it. So I think you'll see it get pretty exciting pretty quickly.
Yeah, it looks like it here. It's 3 rocks thrown, 3 rocks in play. We have our first hit here coming from Murphy lead Philip Crowell. We'll go through the teams here quickly. For Jamie Murphy, we have, as mentioned, Philip Crowell playing lead. Scott Saccary is playing second. Jordan Pinder at the mate vice position. And, of course, our skip, Jamie Murphy. Nice hit there from Mr. Crowell.
Yeah, Murphy's the number 1 seed coming into this event. They've had a great year and obviously performed well, won their way into the provincials here without actually having to go through the qualifier, which was nice for them. Top 2 teams managed to get in that way. So they've had a little time and a little bit of time to kind of work on their game, and real solid team. So I think Paul's really up against it. Paul Dexter today to take on the first seed in the first game, but might as well get him early.
Yeah, definitely. So there's 8 teams here for the provincial. As Jim mentioned, 2 of them qualified through the point system and got direct entries into the provincial championship. The other 6 qualified through an open qualifier tournament held a few weeks ago here in Nova Scotia. And Dexter, coming out of that event, actually qualified 8th or the 6th spot in the event, so last, I would say. But it's a new event here this week. Everyone will play everyone once, and we'll see where we stand after a round robin.
Yeah, the round robin's a little different, and you kind of, it's a short round robin. 8 games sounds like a lot, but if you ended up to get a couple losses early in the week, it makes it pretty tough. I'm not sure what it'll take to qualify here, but I think 3 losses might even be too many, so you really can't afford to be a little slow getting out of the gate.
Yeah, the 8-team round robin usually that's usually the bubble point, is that 4-3 mark. Some years will get you in, some years will get you a tiebreaker, but if the competition is real good and real tight, as we're expecting this week, it might not be good enough at all. So keep an eye on that as the week progresses. Dexter second, Mark Robar here with a draw attempt behind the pair of guards set up by the front end. Line looks good. Now where will it stop? It's going to slide to the back 8 foot.
Yeah, not where you want to be. Obviously want to be ahead of the tee line, above the tee line, so that rocks can be promoted later. But still pretty good shot for the first end, and we can see from that there's all kinds of curl, and that's going to make for a lot of great play too. So yeah, nice to see the curl.
Yeah, that really walked in there once it hit the house. Jamie's going to try to follow it down. Other option here might be to play a tap on the center line yellow guard, but feels as though he likes the curl he saw there, and there's a nice pass. So try to replicate the shot shown before.
Yeah, as you say, they just saw it come down here, so it's just a little easier to manage the straight draw than the tap. Scott looks a little heavy.
A little wider, probably because it has a bit more weight. Oh, it looks like it's going to stop just on the corner of the blue there.
Shot rock, so not terrible, but certainly not where Scott would like to be on that one.
Yeah, both teams looking for that elusive rock above the tee line in this case. Here's our first look at Dexter third, Lee Buott.
Yeah, this team does do it a little differently. Lee throws the third stones, and then Mark Robar, the second, goes into the house for Paul's skip stones. Okay. Probably just an age thing. Lee's probably much younger than Mark. Tell the ice is pretty quick this morning. Everybody's behind the tee line.
Yeah, that's right.
Not a good shot for Lee, though. Now you're kind of under the gun. If the Murphy team can sink one in here, top 4 foot, he's going to be in some trouble.
Yeah.
Pretty loud out here for a 9 o'clock in the morning game, so everybody's ready to go.
It's pretty indicative of how the week will go.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it'll just build as you get to those last couple of rounds. It just gets louder and louder.
That's right. As Jim was mentioning, it's a 7-game round robin here this week. There are 8 teams qualified for the provincials. All 8 play at the same time every draw during the round robin. So this morning there are 3 other games on the ice. On next door on ice 2, we have Sean Adams playing Glenn McLeod. Adams, the other team qualified with the points for the provincial. On ice 4, Jamie Danbrook against Stuart Thompson. And ice 5, Chad Stevens against Brent McDougall. We'll surely keep you updated on all of these as our game goes along. You can actually also tune in to the action on ice 4. Bell TV1 generous enough to provide us with 2 sheets of coverage this week.
Yeah, that's great. It's always nice to have a choice, and sometimes you have a preference of who you want to watch and which game you'd like to watch, and the other thing that happens every now and then, one game gets a little lopsided, and you have the option of watching a tighter match if it goes that way. So. Both teams struggling a little bit with the weight here. Everybody's close, just not right on yet.
With Jordan Pinder's first stone came up with a little light, and then Lee Buott threw another one almost in the same spot. They're back 8, so both teams having a hard time finding the 4-foot this morning.
Yeah, this has got a good situation and a tough situation for Jamie. He's got the one in the back of the 8-foot, but it's really not an easy spot to get a second rock in, and I think he's going to end up playing the straight come around.
Yeah, I really think if the weight is right that he will get the proper curl there.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't look like a lot of ice for that shot, but it's about the middle of the 12-foot.
I think that might be because a lot of the movement is fairly late, so the sweepers are able to hold it out there most of the way down and finish it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these teams can sweep now. Like there's no soft touches with the brooms out there anymore. It's everybody's got power in the front end, and these guys are no exception.
So as you can see, kind of great view of it coming in there now. So Philip Crowell is going to try to finish it into behind the guard, but
it's a great shot by Jordan.
So we have a rock above the tee that's going to present some trouble for Paul Dexter.
Yeah, Dexter's in some trouble for sure here. He's got a bit of a mess here. And
Jamie Murphy does have the last rock advantage here in this first end.
Yeah, I don't know, Paul. I think he's just going to play the freeze to this one. Freeze, maybe a little tap, and try to get out of this end with just maybe giving up a single point.
Yeah, if he makes it real good, if he ends up topping it a few feet, it might set something up for his second stone as well.
Yeah. Has to be real careful. He's got he's really looking a 3-ender in the eye here. It's just it's a tough situation for the Dexter team for sure.
Dexter, of course, the Nova Scotia junior champ from 2009. He's had a good transition into men's play since then.
Yeah, they don't play quite as much as some of the other teams out here. They certainly play in most of the regional events, but they don't really seem to travel outside the province, and maybe they will in future years. But for whatever reasons, right now it doesn't work for them. Got a great looking shot
on this one. Real nice.
Yeah, just a great shot. I mean, viewers might think, well, it's not so great. He doesn't have shot rock, but it's in a good position. He's number 2, what it looks like for sure. Maybe not.
No?
So, no. Well, it's still in a great spot. He can do something with it, and that's about the best he could get out of it, I think.
Yeah, it's going to force Jamie to deal with it somehow, because if he leaves it there, Paul's just going to do the exact same thing and tap it onto the tee line, frozen into the forefoot to that yellow there.
Yeah, I really think he has to guard it.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And if he does, certainly not going to leave Dexter with much. Probably the raise on his if he wants to play it on the one that's just on the center line. He might not have any choice.
Yeah, and the line on that would be awfully tight there to miss the yellow one behind it. I'm just sitting directly behind that rock, and there's not much room between those guards, but you hit it right on the beak, you might get to the pin,
Yeah.
Attempt looking pretty good here. Well done for Jamie.
Yeah, it was a good read on the ice. They hadn't played anything that way. That's just about perfect. So quite a dilemma for the Dexter team here. I'm not quite sure what they're gonna play or how hard they want to go at getting shot rockets. Yeah. They don't have much of an opening.
I think those 2 guards are probably too staggered to try any kind of outturn through that hole there.
I think you're right, judging by the way that Jamie Murphy's just kind of warped over there. It certainly looks like it'd be a challenge.
So Paul's forced to go outside of the outside guard. I'm going to try to maybe grab a piece of the forefoot this way, but this is going real wide.
Yeah, I think he might get there, but even if he got number 2, if he could come around there and just bite the edge of the forefoot, he'd probably be pretty happy right now.
Yeah. And Jamie's made it tough for Paul to get in there, but Jamie's also made it tough for him to get in there for a second point if that becomes the issue. So.
Yeah. He might have seen a different shot there. Had he only been sitting 1, he might have said, well, we got to, let's go a little harder, maybe trying to figure out a way to get that blue one out.
Yeah.
Tough shot for the first end, but
it's going to be tight to the guard. Just a little tick there.
Yeah, unfortunate. I think he's pretty close on weight by where that one ended up. I think he would have been real close to making that.
Yeah, Zippers could have dragged it to bite the 4, I think, for sure.
Yeah.
And now Jamie here will have a relatively open draw for 3. With Paul ticking that guard over a little bit, made the path a little more natural for Jamie to get into the forefoot for a 3rd point there. He really just needs a little more than full 8, actually.
Yeah, and on this ice surface with the practice and with the conditions and everything, this is not as hard a shot as would be for you and I in our own club in the first end when, the ice is probably really heavy out there and much tougher to make.
This one almost seems wider than Paul's, and he's just not getting the snap that Paul did. Will it get off the guard in time? No. A missed opportunity there for Jamie. He'll settle for 2. So our opening score, we have Jamie Murphy up 2-0 on Paul Dexter.
Yeah, I think Jamie just overthrew that one a little bit. Maybe he thought it would be a little heavier out there, but it definitely had too much weight for sure. So Paul escapes, probably not terribly, not usually happy giving up 2, but in that situation he's probably reasonably happy to get away with that.
That's right.
That deuce.
Just next door on sheet 4, you have Stuart Thompson opened with a deuce against Jamie Danbrook.
Yeah, he stole that 2 in the first end. Jamie tried to play a double on his last shot and just got it a little wide and went right through the hole.
Action underway in the second end here.
Yeah, the other thing a little different for this event too, most of the events now are moving to 8 ends, but because this is a Pro Canada event, it's a 10-end game, so viewers be aware of that as you're watching. You get all excited in the 8th end and find out they keep going, so.
Yeah, that's right. And for the players, it is an extra level of tiring for the week. As the week goes on, you really start feeling those couple extra ends, especially for those front end sweepers who make or break a lot of shots. And here's one of them. Just going to be short of the hog line there. Guards are tough beginning. It's a bit of especially if you want them real high. You know, he missed that rock by 2 feet and it's not in play. So
yeah,
tough
exactly.
break there.
Yeah, it's certainly a game that you have to be in shape now with the sweeping. It's you go pretty hard even with the new directional sweeping. You only sweep about half as much, it seems, but we'll talk a little more about that as the week goes on. You'll see a lot of teams here that you're wondering why they don't have 2 guys sweeping, and it's just a new style, and most of the good teams are implementing it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see at what point it's implemented here at the local level, if teams have really taken it on club ice level, or still see some skepticism out there, but I think most teams have certainly seen the effect. I know myself personally, just the last 2 events that have been on TV have got me pretty convinced that there's something behind it, because both at the Continental Cup and the Skins game, the teams are just unbelievably effective with it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that being a little old school, I don't know if I really like it, but it's there and it's going to happen, and it's I think you're going to see, even out here and talking to a number of teams that have been trying to kind of work with it a little bit over the last few weeks, getting used to it and getting ready for this event. We'll see a little bit. I'm not sure we'll see everybody trying to do it, but we will see more of it.
It really does require an extra level of attention for every shot that's being played.
Yeah, and I think we saw it at the Continental Cup on the weekend too, where it's confusing. You know, a lot of times the skip's hollering out for the wrong sweeper, and everything, it just becomes difficult, because when you call the sweeping on now, you kind of have to call it on for which guy you want to sweep it or girl you want to sweep it, and it's a little hard on the head, I think, if you're in the house.
Yeah, and what you're looking for can change more than once while you're going down the sheet of the ice. So if you at the beginning you're sweeping it to make it curl, then you need to keep it straight, then you need it to curl again. So
yeah, exactly.
It really becomes tricky for the skip.
Yeah, it's not something the Wednesday Night Mixed League curlers need to worry about, or even the curlers like myself. I'm pretty sure our team won't be going with that, but it is interesting. I'd like to understand the science behind it, because I can't quite figure it out, but it definitely works. Definitely makes a big difference.
I think for the most part, the science is not there yet. All we have is the YouTube videos.
Yeah. It's like, well, it happened, but I don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
So Murphy's in pretty good shape here. He's got the one in the top of the button with a short guard. Now he's going to throw the high guard to try to look after it.
Yeah, and Dexter, recognizing that trouble that he's in here, tried a bit of a bail shot on the last one, but just got the straight peel on the guard.
Yeah, because Paul does have a chance here. If you ever miss this guard, you have a chance to play your own and certainly score, but maybe not many. But Long way to go in this end yet, though.
Yeah.
Taking this one a little deeper than I thought they were going to. I don't know if he's just trying to hope to get a little more curl, but
yeah, really trying to line it up nice, but it's definitely be multiple takeout opportunity here.
Absolutely, I think you can actually get them all.
Yeah, I think so. I think nose is awfully close.
Yeah,
low side a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely makeable. Trick here is just to throw within yourself. Don't try to throw a little extra because you're moving more rocks. Mark throws it pretty good usually.
With the weight here is very little curl on the rock. It's going to hit it a bit high side. We'll see what happens. He's got two of them going. It's a good shot by Mark there. He's actually pushed one of the blues behind his shooter stone, which actually rolled into the top 12. So that's a great result for Mark there.
Oh, yeah, perfect, yeah. Yeah, it didn't look all the way down. They were a little concerned it wasn't going to curl enough, but came up pretty good. And as you say, they got that one right behind the corner. So with the 2-0 lead, Murphy's going to probably remove the top blue. And
yeah, with it being so tight, you might see them try to get both here.
Made that look pretty easy. Well, not the easiest double. They were quite a ways apart. But again, everybody throws it so nice now and so straight, and you can control it so well. So those shots are, when years ago they were much more difficult, are kind of not automatic, but you totally expect to make them.
Yeah, and with the free guard zone, the shots have become a lot more. They need to be in your arsenal to be a competitive team, so you see teams practicing them a lot more, and the old adage goes, practice something enough, it'll become easier.
Yeah, exactly. So. Years ago, you figured if you had a second stone that could hit, you had it made. Didn't matter what everybody else could do.
Right.
Just needed to have a second stone that could hit,
yeah.
and you were good. Now everybody needs to be able to hit, and they need to be able to throw it hard. And,
yeah, that's right.
And everything that goes with it.
The last one by Lee Buott didn't curl enough there. He didn't quite make the double. Sitting top 12, you see Jordan Pinder, Murphy's third rather, come down and hit that. It looks like it's going to hang around to sit 2.
Yeah, Jordan's a good player. I've seen him play a fair bit this year, and I'm not real familiar with him in the past, but watching him play, just real steady, not spectacular most of the time, just doesn't miss very many shots. So,
very, very calm, cool, calm and collected, Jordan.
Yeah.
I used to play against Jordan back in New Brunswick, their junior days.
Oh, is that right?
Long
Yeah.
time ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a contrast in personalities then, because Jamie's certainly, somebody's got a little more vibrant personality, or whatever you want to call it, just a little more intense maybe, and maybe that's how come this team works so well.
Yeah, I think you see a fair number of skip third combinations like that balance each other out, personality-wise.
So fairly open-looking end here now, and big shot for Jamie to stay on. He wants to be able to force Dexter into taking one here, and I think that yellow one at the top is on the circles.
I think so. You've seen a few of them now come down where they just needed to hold the line, and you see Philip Crowell being the only sweeper pushing in the direction opposite of the curl, trying to keep it straight. And as we were talking about earlier, this new way of sweeping has taken over the curling world. You're seeing a bit of it here already this morning at the Mayflower.
Yeah, that was a great example there. You notice Scott rather, Kevin, Scott's brother. Scott just kind of walking along beside the rock and cheering Phil on, and that would be my definition of the perfect sweeping job.
Yeah. And the theory being Scott pushing in the direction of the curl would be negating any effect that Philip is doing by sweeping against it. So.
Yeah, exactly, and it's different now because you would never see somebody sweeping a rock before if the rock was on the high side or the outside of the stone on a takeout, and now you'll see guys sweeping hard in those situations, and that's what's so different about it now.
Well, I think that's probably the only chance at a double Paul's going to get here. Jamie's going to try to spread his last one here very far apart from the rock that's in the stone and that's in the house, and force Paul to a single.
Yeah, that's not a real good shot for Paul. He really needed to stay there and at least make Jamie play something other than just drawing the.
Yeah, at least play a hit or something.
Yeah, looks like he's going to try to come around this maybe. A little bit surprised. I'm with you.
Yeah,
I thought he would just.
Definitely not ice for the wing. Yeah. Yeah, you might see him try to coax Paul into some kind of double and blank shot if the angles are there, I guess.
Yeah.
I think they're going for other T-line 4 foot. Slide to the back gate. And yeah, not much of a double and blank opportunity there. So Dexter is just going to try to draw for a single. Mission accomplished for Jamie there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how hard Jamie worked. Jamie was really trying to make that perfect. I think it was really a matter of just, forcing Paul to play this draw and actually maybe teasing him a little bit with his own stone. If he had left that maybe another half rock open, it might have been a little tempting for Paul to play some kind of a heavy draw or whatever, and that always gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
Cold draw now. Needs a 4 foot.
Seems to have a bit tighter line than Jamie's, but it should be okay.
I think he's going to be okay as long as the weight's close.
Sweepers will glide this one in. Nice draw there from Paul.
Yeah, great shot. Well judged, well thrown, and nice as a skip to make a draw like that early in the game, too. It just gives you that little bit more confidence for draw weight. And
yeah,
he's going to need to probably throw a few more draws to get totally back in this one. Not a long way out at 2-1, but.
So after the opening steal of 2 from Stewart there on sheet 3, we had a blank in the second end, so he continues to lead 2-0 over Jamie Danbrook. And after an opening blank on ice 2 between Sean Adams and Glenn McLeod, Sean Adams scored 1 in the second and leads 1-0.
Yeah, as we would expect, really. Just it's early here, and these teams are all very good, whether they're seeded 1 or seeded 8. So you wouldn't expect anybody to really jump out to any real early leads, certainly in the first couple ends. So should stay pretty tight for a little while.
Dexter is going to have his back up against the wall here somewhat, giving up the deuce and being forced to 1. He's now down without the hammer, so the guard goes up. And see how the end progresses. One a little wider than they anticipated, I think.
Yeah, and heavy too.
It's gonna slide to the back there, yeah. Let's It's definitely not what you want if you're Jamie Murphy. Paul's going to go right around his first guard right now. The other option here might be to throw the second guard. But he's going to try to go in right away, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we got an official's timeout or something happening here. Something going on with ice down there, maybe. Probably just somebody's slider when they're coming into the house, maybe sweeping, just dragging a little bit, or just scraped up a little bit of snow.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty familiar with snow the last week or so around here.
Yeah, it's come down a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think here, Jim? Go in right away or throw that second guard?
Well, I think you're going to go in right now, right away. I think it's a little early in the game to be super, super aggressive. I think you got to go at it a little bit, but you really don't need to go too hard yet. But you do need to get a rock ahead above the tee line, and
yeah,
that's not a good shot at all.
Slide out the back for the Dexter lead, Tom Bragnalo. Bragnalo, sorry.
I think it's Bragnalo. Is it
Bragnalo?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got it. Your Italian is admirable.
Well, thanks.
Anyway, whatever it is, Tom needed to be short on that rock. He certainly couldn't afford to throw that through. If he dropped that even, a few feet above over the hog line, it would have been much better than through the house. So Dexter's chasing again now, and that makes it tough when you're.
Yeah, and there's a great example there from Dexter's lead second stone, Philip Crowell there. He kind of threw it to the sweepers, let them finish it up behind the guard, and a much better shot.
Yeah. A little surprised here. I really thought that Paul would probably maybe try to run his blue one back in. This is a very aggressive call early in the game. I thought he'd be a little more patient than that, but it's going right at her.
I think he's indicating that he doesn't mind being back to the one on back 12. However, he's got a curl, so here you have some directional sweeping again. Tom Bragnalo trying to make that rock curl up to the face of the yellow. And enough weight to tap it out the back, so he'll sit second shot back 12.
Yeah.
Don't know what it really accomplishes for him, but
no. Dexter team's going to have to find some draw weight here. Paul certainly has his, but the rest of the guys are just kind of struggling a little bit. Good news for him is the guard's still out there, and Jamie's going to leave the guard and come back to this intern that they played so often in the first end, and might create an opportunity for him yet.
Jamie's going to go to the other side here. Still trying to go around the center yellow. This might see him at one point split the house.
Yeah, I think with the guard out front, it makes it tougher to split the house early in the end, at least. I think you kind of have to say, okay, well, we'll go to. Much better shot here.
Yeah, great weight.
Yeah, that's a good shot. That's a real good spot.
It's going to give Dexter some options, though, if he plays a little freeze tap here. It's all line here, this one.
Yeah, that's right. It's basically the same shot that Paul himself had to play in the first end here is what Mark's going to try to throw down here. If he makes a good one, he can change his end around a little bit.
It's definitely got tighter line. We'll sweep hard now. Here we go, Tom Bragnalo trying to hold the line of that rock there. Around the blue, will it be around the yellow? Oh, no. Still not bad.
Yeah, it's not. Mark's not real happy with it, but I think it's not too bad either. It's not. It would have been nicer to sneak it by, but it's in a good spot and forces Murphy team to make a real good shot here.
Murphy keeps the weight down, he should be able to get to the inside of that blue, and then they'd be sitting 3 behind cover.
Yeah, I don't know how much room there is there. Is there enough room to...
Yeah, there's air, between the 2 blues. Yeah. Real tight line here. I'm going to try to hold it. Just throwing the perfect weight for this kind of shot. What a great stone.
Yeah, real good shot. Really good shot.
I think you might see Paul play the bail here, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has a choice. He's looking at almost, even though it's early in the game, you're looking at a game situation here where if you don't make something happen here in a couple of rocks, you could find yourself down several points.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. So, nose hit here on this guard. And this one's curling early. He's just going to over curl it and do the straight peel.
Yeah, I think Lee helped that one a little bit when he
got
just
started a bit.
Yeah.
Jamie's just going to put it back, and much to Paul's detriment, now it'll be a yellow guard. So, not much trickier to run into a pile of yellow stones.
Well, exactly. It's, you know, at this level, the shot that Lee just played, you need to make it more often than miss it, for sure. Especially when it's your own stone. Well, might have given him a little bit of an out here.
Yeah, he didn't quite curl that one up to center line, and doesn't quite see all of the top yellow one in the rings, but he does see a good 7/8 of it. He's definitely going to play down to that one.
Yeah, just, you know, something in that control, normal weight sort of thing. Get rid of a couple here would be a big shot.
Yeah, you could make the double sit top 12. Then you got one top 12, back 12, and a yellow on the pin.
Yeah.
There's really some positive rotation there on Lee's stones, and might be staying a little straighter than Paul expected. Just gets the top one.
Yeah, I thought they might play a little bit lighter weight than that one on that shot, but he must have thought he could see enough to throw what I would call probably something around normal weight for these guys.
So Jamie Danbrook responded with a single in the third. Stuart Thompson leading 2-1 with hammer in the fourth, so in control of that game.
Good looking guard here by Jordan. Real tough position for the Dexter team now because he's only got his own skips rocks and he's in a pile of hurt here.
I think he could double peel those guards, or he could come down to the one on the pin there. The one on the pin is actually back button, so if he gets around the one top 4 and taps it an inch, he actually could get shot rock here, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. If you can get really tight to the guard that's out there, you can't see the guard in the overhead, but it has to be tight for sure. But if he can, then I think it might even be able to. You're right. He might be able to get shot rock.
Yeah, definitely a bigger reward from this one than the double guard, the double peel. So Paul's going to give up on bailing here and try to make something out of his shots.
Yeah, I think it's so late in the end for him now. I mean, if he plays the double peel and Jamie makes any kind of a guard, then he's going to be in the same position. So you might as well go now, and if you can make it, then you might be able to pull out a point here, or save to just get down to 1 would be good.
I think if he makes the perfect freeze tap here, Jamie will have a hard time getting at that stone.
Yeah, I think so.
He had a great draw weight on his last stone in the second end. We'll see if he can replicate that here in the third. First stone from Paul Dexter on its way. Indication is that the line is good. Sweeper's going to try to bring it right down. This should bust hard hog line in here.
Got a great looking shot if he's got the weight.
Yeah, he's got to get some legs on it.
Wow. That's a great shot by Paul Dexter.
Yeah. Geez, had it curled another 5 inches or so, maybe shot rock, but I think the sweepers had to go for weight.
Oh yeah, I think you're right, and it's a real good spot.
Jamie thinks he probably has some kind of tap on the one top 4. Not with anything, not with any kind of crazy weight, but just the lay is 2 on the button probably.
Yeah, just a back button, back 4-foot maybe shot.
If he gets lucky, he might actually tap that blue out to the open side. That would set something up for a multiple score in his last.
And we do know it will curl here. We saw some shots in the first end. I know that Jamie's last one hung out there, but he was heavy and it just wasn't good. But it will curl. Dexter racked on a guard, and Jamie had through a guard in the first end that really curled here, so I think he'll get some curl.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really see the call, but I think he's playing the shot we're talking about, Ryan. I think he's just playing a little tap.
Yeah.
With just enough weight to get there and maybe move the blue one into the open, as you say, or at least just promote the yellow one into be number 2. You can actually hear Jamie talking to the guys about what he's going to play.
Indication there is that he's only going to play top 4 weight, which probably means he wants his sweepers to do the rest of the work as far as tapping that stone up the few feet it'll need to be second shot.
Yep.
And that's really a great plan for a great team shot in curling, to have everyone be a part of it.
This one looks light to me.
Yeah, it's on the guard as well. Yeah. So that stone there didn't achieve too much for Jamie.
No, actually, if anything, it probably hurt him if he was ever thinking about trying to play some kind of a run in there. He's certainly not going to be able to play it now. Paul still has to be careful here. He has to really make sure he doesn't do anything to make his situation worse at all.
Yeah. That's right. We haven't updated sheet 5 yet. We have Chad Stevens playing Brent McDougall, and Brent is actually up 2-1 on Chad Stevens, playing the third with hammer.
Yeah, Brent made a great shot in the second end of that game to set up his deuce. He played a run back double raise, double take.
There's no shortage of great shots already this morning here at the Nova Scotia East Coast Credit Union Tankard.
Yeah, great to have East Coast along. It's their first year sponsoring this championship in Nova Scotia, and we're thrilled to have them for sure. That makes a big difference for the teams and for the event, and we'll see them when you go to the other game that's being televised this morning. You'll see their logo in the middle, so we hope you get out and support those guys when you're looking at where you're going to do your banking.
That's right. So Paul elected to play the guard here, kind of preventing Jamie from coming down and attempting the same shot again. Kind of his way of saying, I'm okay with giving up 1.
Oh, absolutely. He's probably ecstatic at giving up 1.
I think he might have had some kind of shot for shot rock on the left-hand side of the sheet, but he could have also made his situation worse and given Jamie an opportunity for a multiple score. So happy with that. Take the hammer into 4, hopefully only down 2. Jamie, I don't know if Jamie can get enough of the pin here for a second point or not, but looks like he's going to try.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he can, for sure. This might almost just be a practice draw, but you know what? With the new sweeping, and we'll probably see it come into effect here if he's not heavy.
And it really does snap curl there a lot at the end. So if he gets around the one top four, who knows? With the perfect weight, just bite the side of the pin. They won't have the line on this one, though.
No, the draw weight struggles still continue a little bit for Jamie himself. Teams are just backwards right now. Jamie's struggling with the draw weight, and his team seems to kind of zeroed in on it pretty good. And Paul's got the draw weight, and the rest of his team doesn't have a clue.
That's right, and that's probably why it's 3-1 after 3 ends as opposed to something a bit more drastic.
Yeah, he certainly held them in here, and that's all you want your skip to do if you can, because you know these guys will be back. They're good players, and they're going to start picking it up here along the way, and you can keep them in it long enough, give them a chance.
You'll see Paul go hard for a deuce here to try to even it up halfway through the game. And Brent McDougall following up his deuce with a steal in the third end over there on sheet 5, so he's up 3-1 on Chad Stevens now. And next door on ice 2, we have another blank between Sean Adams and Glenn McLeod. Sean Adams continues to lead that 1-0.
So Murphy's going to play in the house here, throw one into the top of the forefoot, and let Paul Dexter determine whether or not he wants to make a play or throw the corner guard. Expect we'll see him throw the corner guard.
I would think so, yeah.
Sometimes there's a skip when your team's struggling a little bit with draw weight. It's hard to keep playing these kinds of shots because you kind of just need a little break along the way so you can breathe, not have to play tough shots all the time. But it's a provincial championship. No time to worry about that. You just got to assume that they'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And the scoreboard will dictate the strategy here for Paul. Nice draw weight, or nice guard weight here, about halfway through. Now you want these corners
That might be
close
a little
enough that the that one's a little wide, yeah. But you just want to leave Paul the amount of room he'll need to make a draw on his last one if need be.
Murphy team. We mentioned that the Murphy team played a fair bit this season, and they did. They played Monspiels in Ontario and Quebec, and they won a couple of spiels along the way. They won the Sobeys Classic in New Glasgow, and they won the Jim Sullivan Classic in St. John, I think it was.
I think so.
So good results. They had some qualifying games and others. Lost the final in Truro, so pretty good year for the guys, and certainly worked hard at it this year. It's a pretty good shot by Phil Crowell there. Just kind of made the guard. Needed to curl maybe another inch or two, but that's not a bad spot.
Paul's going to try to play down to the one in the house. This one's curling fast. A little light maybe as well. Now it looks like he's going to tuck a piece around that yellow, and detriment to him more than anything.
Yeah, unfortunately that doesn't help. That, certainly a couple ends ago that would have helped when you didn't have hammer, but right now you just created a kind of staggered guards. Right now the blue one doesn't do you a lot of good, but it's early in the end.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens.
So over next door between Sean Adams and Glenn McLeod, they actually blanked the fourth as well. So they're actually playing the fifth now with a 1-0 score. Both teams just taking their time getting used to the ice and the rocks.
Yeah, sometimes too at this level, Ryan, as you know, it's you look at games like that and you say 1-0, nothing's going on, but actually if you're watching the game, sometimes there's all kinds of stuff going on, but it gets a little bit messy and one team decides to bail, and guys can throw it so good now that a couple shots and everything's gone.
That's a good point, Jim. Just next door between Stuart Thompson and Jamie Danbrook, same situation really. They ended up blanking the fourth, so Stuart continues to lead 2-1. But as you said, there was plenty of rocks in play in that fourth end, and I think it was Travis Coulter came down, made a raised triple, lots of rocks flying. Within 2-3 stones, they're looking at blank opportunities. So
A single peel there for Mark. The guys just haven't been able to quite make that double peel when they need it so far.
It's Colton that made the nice shot over on Stewart's game. Colton Steele.
Yeah, he can throw it hard and straight. And he barely has to get to the hack, and he's already at the hog line. Yeah. He's a big guy, tall guy. Saccary's just asked to throw another guard on these, and looks pretty good.
Yeah, that rock top pretty good position being behind a pair of staggered guards, but it's in an even better position behind staggered guards that are behind another guard. So you've got Dexter really in some trouble here.
Yeah, they really need to make something good happen here, and the single peel is just not going to do it. Yeah.
Well, oh geez.
Well, they would have rather got the yellow one.
Yeah, got a double peel, but left the blue one out in front. So troubles continue here for Paul Dexter. Jamie is going to throw another guard, looks like. Throw, the more stones it's going to take Paul Dexter to get out of this situation, and you only get to throw 8. So.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't changed that rule yet.
Scotty's playdowns getting underway this week or next, pretty much all across the country. We have the Nova Scotia event being played here at the same time as the men's for the first time in Nova Scotia history, both men's and women's provincials, same week, same club, same event. And there's a few other provinces that have, or I think Ontario next year will be doing that for the first time as well.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a big event.
2017,
Yeah.
That'll be a fairly big event out of Ontario, obviously. Well, the PEI women played over the weekend. Suzanne Burt coming out successful off the island, so we'll see her at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Grand Prairie to be played. That's the 20th to the 28th of February. Nice run back attempt there. It's going to somewhat stuff it, but it pops out the other side, so it's a better situation for Dexter already.
Yeah, much better. At least that's he's got that out of the 4-foot, and take a little bit of a deep breath and say, okay, well, we got a chance now, no matter what Jamie does here. It's good. Yeah, Suzanne Burt, you mentioned winning on the weekend. Did lose a couple of games, which was maybe even a surprise. Certainly a surprise to me. The team is pretty strong, having a good year, and did have to win a squeaker at the end to beat the Kim Dolan rink, which is
Kim Dolan brings a ton of experience to the table, so she's always in the thick of things.
Yeah, and this is Suzanne's still pretty young, and I think this is her 9th Scotties I read, so pretty amazing career so far.
Yeah, looking to recreate that amazing run she had a few years ago. I guess it's a while ago now, beginning of the 2000s or so. Nice draw there to the top of the pin.
Yeah, good shot, but like I say, Paul now at least has a chance. Lee can make a good shot here. He can get a little hit and flop either way, and has a chance to get something going for the first time really in the game maybe.
Yeah, I would have been tempted to maybe just throw a little freeze tap on this one. The ice definitely seemed to be enough for a board weight control hit, but they're going to need it to curl with that weight. Oh, he's going to find the hole. Yeah, I would have kept the weight a little lower than that on that shot. But
yeah, that was far too much weight. I agree for that shot. He overthrew it, or if that was the weight that Paul wanted. But it's hard. It takes a little while to get a feel for, the weight and ice matchup too. I mean, they did have a practice session yesterday, so I have a pretty good idea on speed. But sometimes with this kind of ice, you get, it really curls 4 or 5 feet on draws, but it only curls about 6 inches on. And everything in between becomes a bit of a challenge to figure out. So keep it a little bit simpler. Maybe just, like you say, play that with just tap it back. Even if you just bump it back 2 feet, it's a pretty good shot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's usually the sign of good ice. Curls a lot on draws and straighten up a little bit on hits. But as Jim said, those in shots are the hardest ones to call.
Yeah, because now he's in a huge amount of trouble because Jamie can throw this almost anywhere and over the hog line, and it's going to be good for him. And if he ever tucks it around the top guard, then Paul's back into a real problem again.
Yeah, I think the call was actually to come right top 4 with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it up front, which is okay. Plug that hole there.
Dexter has not much choice but to run something.
Yeah, I think he might have something off the side one there. Yeah. You know, the good thing about that is if he ever to make it, he's behind a wall.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah. And again, the guys nowadays, all of them, right, Skips included, can throw it so hard that this doesn't become a hard shot. I could never throw it very hard at the best of times, and so I don't sometimes even look at these shots. But that's the difference in the game today versus several years ago. Everybody has that shot in their arsenal, so. And Paul's no exception.
Half a stone here?
Yeah, what did somebody say to me one day? Brad Jacobs says everything's a half a stone. So, but I think he's right. Half a stone probably makes this. He doesn't have to get the yellow one out. He only really has to bump it 18 inches, 2 feet maybe, and he has shot rock, so.
Yeah. Now, this is the second time I've noticed this from Paul's team, is kind of playing these with the straighter turn at the stone. I feel if you played the turn coming into the stone, you might get more action off that first stone, which would help his chances at making the double. You can make it both ways, but I think it's a bit harder this way.
Yeah, you may be right, for sure. It's the teams a lot of times play so little inside out, as we call it. They just don't know exactly where to put the broom for.
Yeah, and these are a bit easier to call. You saw Lee just put the broom on the stone, throw it at the stick, and should be close. This one does look pretty close.
Got a chance?
Yeah. I had to hit a bit thinner.
Yeah.
But again, there's a great example of that exact angle with the other turn. You might have sprung over enough to tap that a bit further.
Yeah,
but
you may well be
hitting it with
right.
that flat turn, it bounces off a little flat, and you saw a pretty good example of it there.
Yeah.
If you were trying to force Jamie to 1, but unfortunately Paul's got hammer here, so.
Yeah, that's the problem, and unfortunately, like you say, I mean, he's only had about one opportunity to create any offense, and that was just a couple of shots ago. So tough day so far for the Dexter rink. Then you do need to kind of turn it up a little bit. Paul's doing his best to keep them in it.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's tough when you're always throwing to either hold them to 1 or have a chance at 1 by making a really difficult shot. So, and this is a big end for them. It's even scoring in this end, even though they're down some points. Scoring 1 here is not too bad. Up 1 is just going to make the game that much tougher.
We have some rocks in play on sheet 2, so I think we should get some scoring this end.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to score there.
Have Chad Stevens responding with a single in 4, so Brent McDougall leads 3-2 with hammer. They're playing 5 over there on sheet 5.
So I'm not sure if I know the call here. I'm thinking just coming around there to the top of the 8-foot somewhere not quite sure.
I'm not sure, Joe. You might think he can wrap around the blue and grab a piece of the pin too. Awfully aggressive, but great if you make it, I guess. It's pretty close, I think.
He slides by there. He might give him a slash double here.
Yeah, well, if it's behind it, that'll be okay.
It's okay, yeah. The other part of the thinking there probably is you get another one in, and it makes sense to say, well, let's take a shot at raising one of those blue ones, and You know, because you can't afford to play a run and give up 2. You know, so whereas if you
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because I thought Jamie might just guard one of the long guards and see if he could force him into playing a tougher shot. But
it was great weight from Jamie. I don't think he got second shot, and I think Paul is likely playing one of these run backs all day anyways. But like you said, it makes the run back that much trickier, because if you ever peel off your own blue, now you're giving up 2.
Yeah, definitely can't afford that.
Paul's looking at raising this yellow stone instead.
Yeah. The angle sets up a little better, I think, for him. It's interesting. The overhead blue's second shot by a lot when we're sitting right behind the sheet.
That's right.
Thinking the yellow's number 2, but
yeah, that's true. So yellow onto blue onto yellow. I think with the way those angles are, even if you make it good, that blue is going to have some action going to the left or to the right here as we look at it on the screen.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways you could give up 2 with this shot.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to throw a little weight. You know, you play this shot. If you play this down here with just enough weight to the blue and get a little tap, you might be okay. But
I think, geez. I don't know if I'd be calling this shot myself, Jim.
No.
I just don't like the angles on the stones in the house. I think that if that blue rock kisses the top yellow at all, it's out the side.
Yeah. Must be close.
He's playing a nice control weight though, so that might save him. Let's see, and like I said, that blue's just going sideways, so gives up a steal of 2.
Had to be so precise on that shot. Had to hit it in exactly the right spot.
If you kiss that top yellow at all, and it's just spinning off the top, that's what happened. So Jamie Murphy scores 2 in the 4th end. He now leads 5-1 after 4. And Ice 2 reaching their 5th end break. We have Sean Adams scoring 1 in 5. I assume that would be a steal since they haven't scored since the 2nd.
Yeah, those teams play really quick. I've watched Sean's team play a number of times this year in a number of events, and I'll tell you, they just zip through the game. Time clocks, you could take the time clocks off for them because they're never going to at a time. But, I mean, that's a whole end ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a team strategy. You know, they like to have the time in their last few ends to talk about the more complicated ends. Have Stuart Thompson and Jamie Danbrook also reaching their 5th end break with a blank in. So Thompson continues to lead 2-1. It's a pretty low scoring affair here this morning. So no doubt here Jamie's going to go into the house now being up 4.
Yeah, now it's all offense for the Dexter team for sure. They really they have to score a couple points, preferably 3, but at least 2 to kind of get themselves back in this. And 1 is probably prolonging the agony kind of point. Well, with this condition, certainly getting a couple of points is not an impossible task. You just gotta make some shots at the end of the day. Not much handle on this one, kind of floating across there. The thing about this kind of ice is if you have a weak handle, you don't put enough rotation on the stone, you just don't really get to control where it's going to go.
There's really no forgiveness at it at all, no. I think most of these top players know that by now.
Yep.
But found at the club level, playing our league nights the weeks before, can tell if you throw a low handle, there's nothing, you can't do anything with stone.
No.
But Jamie team looks sharp here. You know, they've played a lot this year. They've prepared a lot for this event. They'd love to get back to that prior. They're 2012 and 2014. They've actually taken on Bruce Lohnes as a coach this year. Some of the teams here have a coach. Some go at it themselves, but it's always a bit of an advantage, a bit of extra guidance from behind the glass. And of course, Bruce bringing his years of experience. Of course, Briar champion with Mark Dacey.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better guy to lead you. I don't think he's got so much experience. Like you say, he's been to Briars. He knows how to play the game so well, and And he could still play if they ever needed a player. So
Yeah, and be fifth / coach there.
he did mention that, talked about how well the Crowell teams, or the Murphy's team's playing, and Phil Crowell's at 90% after 4 ends, and Tom, his counterpart on the Dexter team, only at 55. So difference, you need to close that gap for sure. Tom won't be happy with his numbers. Phil's numbers are more than adequate. So
the 4 rock rule is done with, and Jamie Murphy can go ahead and start peeling these guards. Dexter kind of having a guard on a guard there. This one prevents Jamie from getting both. So Jamie gets 1 guard. Paul Dexter is going to try to hit one of the yellow stones and roll behind the 1 guard he has left. Try to set up his deuce here. He could try to guard his guard again and postpone this kind of play in the house. The earlier you make your move, the more chances you're going to give your opposition to get out of it. But the more chances you're going to give yourself of making it good too. So
yeah, a little bit.
All sorts of approaches here in this situation.
Yeah, a little bit surprised he'd play that as a full takeout. I kind of thought, okay, if you're going to play that, play it, bump it to the, maybe try to roll behind the corner that way, because I really think even if you make that shot, Dexter or Murphy rather goes out and peels the guard, and you're not, you're probably going to have a hard time generating a couple of points.
Yeah.
Interesting that the seconds actually have identical stats. It's to the leads. Scott's at 90% for the Murphy team, and Mark's struggling a little bit at 55% for the Dexter team. So pretty well tells you how the game's gone really so far. Dexter's team has just been kind of behind the 8 ball whole game, but it's hopefully they can get it going here in the second half, close the gap, make a little more of a game of this, and just get feeling a little bit better too as the week's gonna move on here. They're too good of players to be playing and struggling at that much, I guess, really. Great looking shot here, though.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that's kind of the shot I thought they might play on the first one, just that kind of weight, or just a touch more than that maybe, but you need to create some rocks. Got to get some rocks in play, even at the back of the house. You need to create something that Murphy just doesn't have to play just an open takeout on.
Yeah, he brought the weight down. Finish on the stone and got a little flop behind the guard. Leaves a little short run back for Jamie. Shouldn't be anything too complicated, but making the shot somewhat tougher for your opposition is always the goal.
Yeah, that's all you can do, really. Sometimes you can't make things happen that aren't there, and we can see that it actually worked it to some level. I mean, it's open, but that's a start.
Yeah. Just missing. Yeah, I wouldn't have said there was a hole there, Jim, but
yeah,
not going on the outside way, and exactly missed the blue and missed the yellow at the back. So an opportunity here for Dexter to get something going. The blue one's not behind is not really behind cover, and the corner guard's actually now staggered. So Dexter is going to take advantage and try to put another one behind that situation. Might act as a bit of a cover for the blue stone in the 4-foot as well. Might have a bit of Christmas tree action here, as we like to say in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for the Dexter team. There won't be any double when he's finished, and great shot there.
Yeah, it's a great
Lee.
shot. Yeah.
So finally, Paul's team has a little something going, and that.
Yeah. Well, Jamie's going to play a hit. He's pretty happy with getting whichever blue stone ends up here. I think the call is to get the back one, but it's indicated if it curls up enough to get the top one, that's okay too. Probably be okay with just getting the guard as well at this point.
Yeah.
Up 4. This one curling. Looks like
I'd be a little careful there. If he had just feathered that top one, he might have ended up not getting either one. So
yeah, that's true.
A little casual on the brooms, but he made it. That's all that matters.
Really close to that middle blue one.
Yeah.
To roll that little with that much weight, because it's a pretty good shot actually. Because Jamie Murphy's laying 2, so kind of forces Paul to deal with that situation.
Yeah. Jordan's having a pretty good game. He's about 80%. Lee here is only at 60% as we move into the 5th but it's a little easier sometimes when you're up a bunch of points and you're throwing shots that are that much easier. And you're only a shot or two away from a much closer game here, so statistics kind of are interesting. They sometimes mean a lot and sometimes they don't mean much. And for Jamie here, if he can make these two shots real good, he can still make the two real hard for Paul, because if he hits this just a little on the outside and stays just about where Jordan's broom is, for Dexter. And
yeah, and Dexter will likely have to make a double at some point.
Yeah.
He won't be hitting this one on the outside. It's curling a lot. Will he be able to hold the shooter for second shot? Yeah, it'll be okay. He has set up a bit of a double there for Paul. This might be the chance to get it now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he plays that or if he's indicating maybe the draw. Looking at both shots right now. But as you say, Ryan, I'm thinking that, you hate to be throwing hits when you're down 5-1, but you're going to have to get rid of a couple at some point. And
yeah.
This might be your best opportunity.
Yeah. I think probably originally looking at that draw, because sometimes as a skip, if you feel you have a path down, if you figured a path out real well, it's easy to play stones where you'd like, and Dexter's played that come around now a few times. You might really like the way that's curling into that side, but looks like his final decision was to go for the double.
Yeah, I think it's the right call.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll leave Jamie with one stone to do something with the situation and set himself up nicely for a deuce.
It's interesting because this is the only position on these teams where the Dexter team's actually outplaying Murphy. Paul's actually at 70% in this game, which is pretty good considering you're down 5-1. It's and he hasn't had very easy shots. Jamie's at 60%, mostly because the draw weight has just kind of eluded him a little bit, and it hasn't mattered too much yet. But he'll want to pick those numbers a little bit for sure. Here's your inside-out double, Ryan. We'll see the difference in how this rock reacts compared to the other one. You can see how hard it bounces off there.
Yeah, and it had enough inertia to kick the yellow one away. So
that's right.
Successful with his double takeout, laying two. Jamie's not going to be too complicated here. Just play the nose hit. He's more or less conceding the deuce at this point, but then he plays the sixth end with hammer up two, so it's still in control of the game here. But he's going to see Paul Dexter continue to try to chip away at the lead, and it's a long game at 10 ends.
Well, absolutely. I mean, get two here and feel good about the second half, a little bit better than you have been so far. And,
exactly.
One steal and a force here or there, and all of a sudden you get a close game in the last end.
Jamie maybe a little spooked from his first one there. He had over first and under curl in a second.
Yeah, that's one of those that's kind of a, make it go away shot. So you'd like to stay and make the other guy make his shot to get his two, but make a hit and stay to get two. But, it's...
It's going to give Paul another free draw here, though, and later in the game might end up paying off because Jamie hasn't thrown that many draws. He's missed a couple draws. So.
Yeah, he's missed most of his draws, really. Just some online, though, some on weight, but. To get an idea on the speed later on the ice. It just looks really quick, but not quick enough. Guys are working pretty hard on this one.
Supers are on this one, yeah. Should be able to drag it, I think. Just needs full 8. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's too bad because Paul's had such a good game and probably the easiest shot he's had in the whole game and really wasn't very close to making it.
Yeah, sometimes the easier they are, the...
Yeah.
Just kind of slipped up mentally there, maybe. Just got to keep the same amount of focus, same amount of visualization on every shot, and just a bit of a slip up there. Missed opportunity. Settles for the single in 5, Paul Dexter. So he'll be down 5-2.
Yeah, it's a funny game, eh? It's hard to believe that with, like I say, with the shots he's made, and had to been perfect on so many shots, and man, really just a real simple shot that most of us would expect to make, and just come up quite short.
So the teams will go into their fifth end break here. We have a little break for a little chat with the coach, a couple of refreshments, and a trip to the washroom. Come out, sweep the ice here is a provincial event.
So a couple of games turning around out there. Just looking over at the game on sheet 5 with McDougall and Steve. If you want to come out and watch the event, it's certainly open to spectators. We have single game passes for $5 and week-long passes for $25. I think all the reserve seats are all sold out, so that's good news. We have all kinds of seating. We have probably about 100 chairs at ice level, and nice comfy chairs up on bleachers, and just have to wear a little bit of a coat and want to right out on the ice to join the teams and enjoy the game close up. We're at the Mayflower Curling Club. For those who don't know where that is, it's actually a 3,000 Monaghan drive just off of Yonge Street here in Halifax. We're going to have the restaurant and the curling club here is going to be open all day, I believe, from probably noon on, and great food. for the Dave Jones spiel back in November, and it was awesome and lots of good grub. So come on down for lunch and stay for watch the afternoon game, or come on down for supper and watch the evening game. Yeah, whatever fits your schedule.
Might be open already, actually.
Oh, awesome! What are we doing here?
bit of a game to take care of first here. See how this one wraps up. All players back on the ice now for the second half. Paul Dexter continuing the offense there after the single and 5 will throw up the center guard. We'll see how offensive he gets here with the second stone. He might throw up that second guard as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that now for sure, Ryan. I think Paul's got to go total offense. Really at a point in the game where you just, you either get back in it or you get out of it is usually what happens. And hopefully he makes all the shots and we get back in it and have a good here on TV1.
Stuart Thompson making a draw to the pin on sheet 4 for 1. They were playing the 6th end there. Had to outdraw something top 4s, but right on the pin. 1 after 6 there over Jamie Danbrook.
Yeah, Jamie's actually the ice maker here at Mayflower, but he's kind of got the week off in a way. Probably don't know if he's working harder when he's working or working harder when you're curling. Sometimes it's just I kind of wonder which is more difficult. But anyway, he's out here curling this week and turned over the reins to John Wall from the Ottawa area.
They have to get by this guard here. Just do. That's a nice stone there.
Yeah, good shot by Tom.
And a wonderful little shot on sheet 2 from Peter Burgess to score 3 over Sean Adams. So he's up now 3-2 after 6 ends.
Yeah, Peter Burgess' team plays under Glenn McLeod as the name because he calls the game, and defending champions, and they hardly play at all. And but it works for them. They get along well. They play well when they play. We certainly saw them play well in Glasgow in the qualifier, and good team. So no surprise to see them come back in that game. Pretty good shot. I'm not sure where Paul's going to go from here with this end. It's kind of I think he's going to have to play the intern come around. He's got the one guard to work with. I think another guard might have been the shot I would have played as well, but regardless, he's got something to work with.
I'm a pretty big fan of the two guards.
Yeah.
Without hammer, when you really need to steal, you play a good spot. Your chances of stealing are good.
Yeah.
If you keep making the rest of the shots, of course.
Yeah.
There's definitely the curl required to get behind this rock top 8. The line looks real good too. Where will it stop? It's going to slide behind the T line, but it's going to get that extra foot of curl there, and it's right behind all the stones. Back to the 8.
It's interesting how, depending on the situation, the score, and the time of the game, that a rock like that, becomes not quite so bad. Early in the game, you'd be like, well, you can't go behind the T line, but right now they need to get some rocks in play, and they need to have shot rock, and that's not too bad a spot.
Yeah, they got both those things right now, so you're going to see Jamie enter defense mode here. I'm surprised he didn't a little earlier, actually.
I don't know if he could have. I don't think he could have went
sorry, you're right.
Oh, wow.
Rock's moving here.
Well.
Wow, and look at where he tapped that blue one as well.
Yeah, I know. Wow. You're Paul Dexter right now. You think like, well, what exactly did I do to upset the curling gods this morning? Anyway?
He's got 2 yellow out, 1 blue out, and top the other yellow to the back 4, almost frozen onto that Dexter stone.
Yeah, I mean, it helps Paul a little bit, but when you're down 5-2 and now you have no guards, it's making the perfect freeze, and trying to score that way is not very realistic. That's what he's playing, because I don't think he has a lot of choice. The guys have got to put a little more handle on these rocks. It seems like
he's lost this one as well.
Yeah, looking at the ice, but I don't know that it's actually picking up much, or if they're just not giving enough handle and ensuring that it.
And especially with the Nova Scotia Curling Association rocks, are a bit sharper on the running surface, so they grab the pebble that much more. And if your rotation isn't strong enough to keep it gliding down the ice, well then the pebble will kind of dictate which way it wants the rock to curl, and you really have to throw a rotation that'll overpower that from happening.
Well, yeah, and these rocks are, as you say, they're a little more aggressive, partly because they get worked on a little more. These rocks were sanded, papered, texture, whatever you want to call it. They were worked on before the event to make sure that they had lots of curl, and usually for the first few draws, that surface is a little bit rougher, so it tends to grab a little more. But these guys should know that, and they should put that little extra handle. It's not that hard to do. So. Anyway, he's going to play a little different approach this time, see if he can just hit it right on the nose and kind of accomplish the same thing, but kind of loosen up that back one a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a fan of this call, really, Jim. You really got to keep some stones in play being down. But he came so close to making it perfect, but it's not worth much now that they're next to each other. He could have just drawn behind the corner or played a freeze on that center there. But
yeah, I agree on the freeze hit option. The corner guard, I'm not so sure that would be where you want to go without hammer, but at the same time, it's the draw to me was a better shot.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not, you don't never go behind the corner, and about down another point or two, that might have been what they had to do anyway. This might create a nice little wall for him, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not whatever you call, it's just what you make and how the results happen. And so now he has a great situation as far as being able to get one in there into that pocket and have the Murphy team get it out. I thought if I was Murphy there, I think I would have tried maybe a little harder to make sure that I didn't end up there. And even if you roll out, it's not so bad. And,
yeah, definitely.
You know, you score here, you're up 6-2, and just want to have a nice, easy end. This one looks like it's got lots of weight. Guys are going a little bit, trying to get it to curl a bit. You can see Tom doing that.
Tom trying to get it over there.
It's just not quite making the curl that they're looking for. Good shot, though.
It's a really fine line between getting it to curl that extra you want and actually over sweeping it for weight. That's the other problem of this directional sweeping is.
Yeah, it's hard to watch
getting
sometimes.
Real specific.
Yeah. When the rock looks like it's too heavy and you see the guy working that hard to try to get it to curl, you're kind of like, well, if you just don't sweep it at all, you might make it, right?
Yeah. So. Like we said, the science is forthcoming. Should be able to squeeze the blue out here. Yeah, so that really had to be made on the other side of that yellow stone to prevent that option there for Murphy.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if they just misread it or they threw it a little wide and that combination a little bit heavy as well that might have made a difference, but it really wasn't very heavy. I mean, they just tickled it a little bit and got to the stone. You had a lot of room on that side. It could, you could curl the first rock by a foot and still end up in the pocket. So maybe just a little too much ice.
Yeah, it's almost as if it curls more the closer it gets to center line. It was just a bit outside of there and it stayed a bit straighter on him.
Yeah.
Because his weight wasn't that much heavier than he wanted.
Yeah, Paul might have got a little full because with the little bit of the soft handles that the front end was throwing down there, and maybe Lee just gave a little more handle and stays out that little long.
Yeah, I did notice Lee earlier is naturally throwing quite a bit more handle than the other ones. So that's something you got to watch on a team. You have to know how your players let go of the stone.
Yeah.
Ideally, you have 4 players that let them all go the same way, but with all the different ways that are possible now, it's less and less the actual case.
Yeah.
A bit of a miscue there from Paul, over curls on the hit, and I think he tried to let it curl enough to maybe the double there at the end, but just rolls over top the yellow, and now Jamie's going to split the house and try to set up his easy deuce.
Yeah, 2 here would be huge for the Murphy team. That would put them in a position where pretty hard to lose with a 7-2 lead and 4 ends to go. Anything can happen, but still at this level, you don't expect to give up that kind of lead, but it's interesting how fast, you talk about rocks a little bit, it's interesting how fast they calm down, if you will. Practice on yesterday morning, in the first practice, the rocks were, curling basically 6 feet, maybe even a little over 6 feet in spots.
Oh, wow.
And now today you're looking at, you're still getting a good 4 feet, but that's only, we haven't really even played a game yet. That was just 4 hours of practice, and
right.
It's interesting how quick they tone down, if you want to use that term. Looks like Jamie's finally found draw weight, and
yeah, got a nice one here.
That'll be good. Murphy team certainly one of the teams we expect to be in the playoffs at the end of the week, and be a bit of a surprise and upset if they weren't. So only 3 teams make the playoffs, though, so can't afford to lose too many games.
So this might be a little indicative of level of confidence we're dealing with here, because down 3 in this situation, you might be wanting a freeze, try to hold Jamie to the single, keep yourself in the game, but looks like he's going to be playing the hit here. It's
yeah,
pretty much giving Jamie the deuce at this point.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I don't really know that I understand this one. I mean, it'd probably be pretty hard to steal anyway, but I think you got to take a shot at it. And
yeah, I think he might think he can get a little flop behind the corner, which if he makes it perfect, I guess he would be shot rock.
Yeah.
So we'll see as it comes down. I think it's even harder to make on this turn, but Paul thinks there's room.
This one looks like it's got to curl a bunch.
Yeah, is it on the card there? Yeah, it looks like it, yeah. Like I said, it was a little more difficult with that turn. There wasn't very much room for error, and got caught with it floating a bit, so it's going to be an open draw for 3 for Jamie Murphy.
Yeah, tough game for Paul. He played well for so long, held the team in it, and then, missed the 1 draw last end to kind of tighten it up a little bit, but just not their day, really. They just kind of haven't been able to get it going at all, and much better team than that. I expect to see them turn it around, certainly in this evening's draw. So Jamie's got the open draw, just hit the paint anywhere and score 3 and take pretty much total control of this one.
Sweepers are guiding this one into the pin. And a nice draw from Jamie there for the 3. He'll go up 8-2 over Paul Dexter. And I believe the handshake comes out, and that'll be the final. 8-2, Jamie Murphy picking up his first win of the 2016 East Coast Credit Union Nova Scotia Tankard over Paul Dexter.
Yeah, tough day for the Dexter team. They just couldn't get it going. Everybody kind of struggled along a little bit. Draw weight was a little elusive early, and just couldn't quite get in it. And certainly, like I say, you'll see better results from them this week for sure. Everybody will get it going a little bit and play much better. Murphy's team, kind of what you expect. That they're one of the powerhouses out here, and really it showed that today. They had a little trouble early too, but really just kind of played well, probably up in the high 80s as a team, and that's kind of what you expect. So not too much of a surprise, and look for better things tonight.
That's right. We'll be back at 2 o'clock for draw 1 of the women's. Sheet 3 coverage will feature world senior champion Colleen Pinckney against Jill Brothers. Brothers team won the Dave Jones Memorial Castile here at the Mayflower back in November, so makes you familiar with the ice, I'm sure. And our game on sheet 4 is still going on. The tight battle between Jamie Danbrook and Selena Thompson, so feel free to switch over to the coverage of sheet 4. We have Selena Thompson on there this morning, and
yeah, like you say, lots of Thompsons out there. Selena's everywhere.
So that'll be it for us this morning on Sheet 3. I'm Ryan Corso along with Jim Nix. We'll see you at 2 o'clock.